That doesn't work here. Your thing doesn't work?
Listen to it every night from 7 to 8. Entertainment, exciting, and fun on this show. Your host now.
Live from J-Root Radio Studios in New York. Thank you, Rev Neeson. Thank you, Yanky, my guest. And I'm Rishi Grumpel right here on Kishoni Hour. This is the Kishoni Hour. You can participate by calling 718-683-5858 or call 718-683-5858.
Also, 347-927-8398, 347-927-8398.
Right. Very good, Neeson. Very good. Now you can listen live by calling 712-432-4217. And last week's question. What was last week's question? That's what I was going to ask right now. I was going to ask that right now. And Shmelky, you're not here. Just remember that. I'm not here. Okay, good. So, Beryl, you can ask the question this week, okay? Okay, good. All right, so Beryl, let's answer last week's question. Last week's question, what was last week's question? Why was Moshe Rabbeinu's name not mentioned? Right, Moshe Rabbeinu's name was not mentioned. Moshe Rabbeinu's name was not mentioned for various reasons, for two reasons, I believe. The answer, one of the answers is because Moshe Rabbeinu David Hashem very hard on this week's parsha, actually, Parshas Kisisa, and some say the Torah is not in the order that it's happening, but yeah, this week's parsha, Moshe Rabbeinu is davening, and Moshe Rabbeinu says, my name is going to be mentioned. I don't want my name mentioned if the Yidden are going to get destroyed, and as a thing, since he said that, his name was not mentioned last week. And this week's parsha question, and this one is a good one, because this one is going to be a very interesting one. Parshas Kisisa, this week's parsha, we learn about the eagle. This is going to talk about the eagle. This question right here is going to talk about the eagle right now. Why did Aaron... Hey, you told me I could read. All right, Beryl, go ahead. Why did Aaron ask for the nose rings? The question is again, why did Aaron ask for the nose rings for the woman's jewelry? He asked the men to bring the woman's jewelry. The question is why. You can text it into me, 347-927-3279. And I'll say 327. No, you got the numbers wrong, Beryl. It's 347-927-8398. Oh, come on. That's the J-Root Radio text line. Oh, okay. 347-927-3279. Right, very good. Well, now I'm going to talk about a little bit of a story. Yeah, I love stories. Before we get to the guest. A Huchas and horror question? Yeah, something like that. Okay. So, you're working on the Shmer Saloshin with your friends, and your sister is with you in another city, so you invite them, of course. Wait a minute, how can you invite your sister if she's living in another city? Well, this is normal. Holy, your sister, your will cause such a comments. These comments, the question is, well, we want to know, is this considered the Lashon Hara? Well, if you would have to accept the loss on this mitzvah, Shmer Saloshin, then you certainly have to accept the loss. So that's the halacha on that. And a little bit of a story. There was once a person, Rav Nachum Zev Ziv, the son of Rav Simcha Zissel, Ziv the Alter of Kelm, and the father-in-law of Rav Eliyahu Dessler. he never viewed himself as a Torah scholar, as a big tzaddik, but as well, the fact that he spent at least 6 hours a day toiling over his learning, he learned a lot. Yes, that he learned a lot. Finish Shmulky now. Oh yeah, I guess Shmulky's not here. It's nice and quiet when he's not here, huh? When he and his brother-in-law's Rav Tzvi Brody took over the Beis Talmud of Kelm in 1910, he used his business to keep the yeshiva running, often paying the shortfalls of his own pocket. Well, his stature among the Torah scholars grew. He became a big, accomplished, dynamic speaker on Musar. At one of these events, he was scheduled to follow another speaker. The first speaker, a respected Talmud Chacham, delivered a halting, tedious address that left the audience shifting in their seats. He was a Chacham, to be sure, but not a speaker. Well, as Rav Nachum Zev turned to speak near, he rose from his seat, approached one of his dignitaries seated around him, and excused himself from addressing the crowd. Later, his daughter asked, "What happened? What happened to cause him? What did he do? Why did he back out?" Well, people would compare my speech to the previous one, he said. Mine would have stood out. The other man would have been embarrassed. How could I do that? How could I embarrass someone? Described him as you could. Well, let's discuss a little bit about this week's parsha. Even though we have a guest, he's sitting right near me, nicely waiting. Is his name Beryl? No, his name is not Beryl. Believe it or not, his name is Yanky. Oh, Yanky, that's funny. Oh, what's so funny about a name Yanky? I remember there used to be games called Yanky. Oh, stop it. Yankee Stadium. Oh, stop that already. Okay, so basically, Parshas Kisisa, we Moshe Rabbeinu says, they did such a avera when he came from Shemayim. He said, that wasn't nice what you just said about Moshe Rabbeinu. You have to ask him forgiveness. Well, it says in this week's parsha that. Yeah. Right. So it says in this week's parsha that Moshe Rabbeinu came down from Shemayim and he said, you have to destroy this nation. You have to destroy them. They did avodah zarah. You have to destroy them right away. And then when Hashem said, "Fine, I'm going to destroy them," all of a sudden Moshe Rabbeinu said, "No, how can you destroy them?" He davened very hard, and his name wasn't mentioned because he davened very hard. Hashem even wanted to make Moshe Rabbeinu a new nation, and Moshe Rabbeinu said, "No, I'm not taking no for an answer. You're going to forgive them, and that's final." And I believe was 6. Texting or calling, you could call in at 718-683-5858 or text 347-927-8398 and if you want to know how many times he davened, because I'm not so sure about the answer. Anyways, on to my guest performer. He's not a guest performer, he's just your radio host show. Okay, I'm the radio host. Yanky Flusburg. Yanky Flusburg, right?
Good evening. Yes.
Good evening. All right, so Yanky is a person who inspires everybody. That's not nice, bro. That's Lashon Hara. That's number one. Number two, he does inspire you. You just looked at him and you got inspired. Yeah, Yanky's a very nice guy. I agree with that. Yeah. So Yanky actually came here by. Don't say how we got here. It's not nice. No, all right. So Yanky basically he does his inspiration on line, and you can actually sign up to it. It's very interesting, and he also does something else. Barley, you want to say what it is? No, I will leave it to you. Okay, so Yanky does something very, very interesting. He goes to Brissom. I don't think it's Brissom, right? Did I get it wrong?
It starts with Upsherns.
It starts at Upsharns. He started at Upsharns, and then maybe one day we'll get to weddings. So he goes to Upsharns, and he dresses up like different characters. How many characters do you have so far?
I have Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse, that's cute.
Mickey Mouse. I can do Elmo.
Oh, that's very interesting. So how many
And
more
then-
do you have?
I can get whatever anybody wants. They just have to
Anybody
put in a request. My son likes, let's say, Bob the Builder, and I'll rent the costume and
Okay.
I'll show up to the birthday party.
Let's describe. What do we do at, let's say, a party at Upsharon, like when you're getting dressed up? So how do you do it? How do you you know? I know you're doing it to liven up the party, but let's describe what it's like. You know.
So first of all, you get a call from a parent saying, my child is obsessed with Elmo. My son loves Elmo, and he'll do anything to meet Elmo. Can you please come to my son's Upsharon and dress up like Elmo. So I'll say, sure, I'll quote them a price, I'll go get the costume, and when I show up to the party, I'll go into the back and change. And then, usually, I set it up with the father. The father sets up that he's calling Elmo into the party. Gonna have a little game together, and it just lightens up the party, puts the kids in 77.
So you blow up the balloons.
I can bring balloons.
You have. It's very hard to make those.
I would say it's very easy.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Anyways, we do have Yanky Flusburg is here. That, as a reminder to everybody who's watching over here, Yanky Flusburg is a person he entertains, and these characters, when you go to the show, you make people happy. So this is a point of your inspiration, right?
Right. My whole life interest is making people b'simcha, making people happy, and that's what it's all about.
Right. So tell us, you said about the dressing up. What is it like to be in a costume? I mean, that's a talent to be dressed up like Elmo. You talk like him probably also, right?
You have to try to get the voice. If you don't want to, you just don't talk. You know, when you go to Disney World, these characters don't talk.
They don't talk.
They don't talk. They
So
just
why
make
go
with their
to Disney
hand.
World?
But the hardest part about being in a costume is it's hot. You have to sit in there. Sometimes people want you for 2 hours, and you have to sit in that costume for 2 hours straight. It's not an easy thing to do.
So Nisa over here is thinking. Yes, you could. In costumes, and I think that's a terrific idea.
I think what you could do is you can get a little fan.
A little
It's called ventilation.
and ventilation, but you know, if you have those costumes, talking about costumes, Purim is coming up, and so people do. If you want to talk about your costume, what you're going to dress up in the next few weeks, you could talk about your costume right here on JRU Radio. You could call in 718-683-585 and tell us what you're dressing up as. I know somebody who dressed up like the Bernstein Bears. Get out of here! No way! Yeah, Beryl, I'm serious. And one of them was you. No way! Anyways, I know somebody who's going to dress up like a beekeeper. Right. So, anyways.
So I remember 2 years ago, I think it was about 2 years ago, I dressed like Mickey Mouse and hit a Flatbush. People were posting pictures on the internet saying Mickey Mouse is in Flatbush, up to take pictures with me. It was people were saying, this is Purim now. This is Purim. It was
when you come, they say it's Purim, and
people were passing by me with their children saying, this is Simchas Purim. People would stop me to take pictures, and
right.
it was even the non-Jews. They would stop me. Can we take a picture with you? It was a
Astronauts.
life. Huh?
So you ever go to the Times Square?
No,
That's Scottish. That's true. That is Scottish. Kids, Times Square is a place where let's just not say what it is. All right, we're not gonna say what it is. So, how did you start doing this? That's number one. Number two is, I know you just said that the whole thing is inspiration, but you know, you're gonna have to describe more detail. But how did you get into all this? How was the
So-
first time how it started?
So I'm sure my family can vouch for me that whenever they took me to an amusement park, there's Sesame Place, there's Disney World. My whole family, we were all excited to go on all the rides, but I was just excited to take the pictures with the characters. There was something about the characters when you grow up as a child and you're watching these cartoons, they become role models to you.
Role models, huh?
They
So if
become,
I watched, let's say, Rabbi the Rosh Yeshivas, then then I'll become.
I would really hope that if you listen to Rosh Yeshiva, you could really, be a role model to you.
Yeah, that's cute. Yeah, right, Beryl. That is very cute.
But I enjoyed running after these characters so much that I figured when I grow up, I want to be in a costume like this, making the other children feel like I get to see my role
Kids
model.
out there, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because I know somebody who once told me he wants to be a tree when he grows up. Stop it, isn't nice. That isn't nice. That's true.
Well, the words of Uncle Maishi, when you grow up, you want to be a Talmud Chacham.
Yeah, I remember that song. Yeah.
Yes.
So your first time you started, was there like you weren't embarrassed or?
I wasn't embarrassed. I put an advertisement on the internet, and I figured this is a little bit silly. I don't know if I'll get anything for it because I haven't seen this in the community ever. I put it up, and within 2 weeks I got a phone call. How much do you charge for an upshirt?
So let's not say the prices.
Let's not say the
because,
price, but I said, wow, like you're interested? And the mother was like, yes, my son loves Mickey. We're making a Mickey Mouse themed party, and we would love you to come for about an hour or two.
So you don't do weddings yet.
For weddings, I bring my costume sometimes for shtick. But I don't think anybody hires for a costume.
Right, that
For
would be
shtick,
more like a puppet show.
for a mitzvah, if there's a small wedding where people didn't show up.
And you're not hired for shows yet, right? No, can't do shows.
I would love to.
But I don't think they're gonna want you, right?
You never know if a camp or a school wants to put together a little production and have a character in there.
Because there is a camp thing going on. They have the camp booth. In a few months, they're having a camp booth. You go down and the hall on over there on Demis Avenue over there, and they have a camp. It's called a camp. No, I forgot. Camp, I forgot. That's cute. Right. So going back to this costume, you first started, and so what do they do? Like, let's say you want the Mickey Mouse thingy, so you'll walk a Mulder Street Mickey Mouse, or you?
No, I'll put my costume in a bag, big large black garbage bag, and the father will sneak me into the house. I'll get dressed, and he'll figure out some cute way to get me to come into the party.
Kids, look under your pillows tonight. Your parents might sneak a quarter there. Maybe a dollar bill. But yeah, go ahead.
See, what you learn from this is when you think of an idea of what you want to do in life, don't stop and think, nah, you know what, forget it, it's not worth it. Because one of the ways to get success is to fail.
One of the things to success is
One
to
of-
fail.
You ride a bike,
Right,
are you
I
going to fall
agree.
off the bike?
That's-
There was a young boy who went to his grandfather, and he said to his grandfather, you're so wealthy, Baruch Hashem, you're so healthy. How did you succeed like this in life so much? So he said, I'll tell you, one word, failure.
Failure, right.
So he said, failure? He said, yes. The only way to succeed in life is to fail. Unless you fail, you won't learn from your mistakes to be able to correct your mistakes. And
So how did you start your inspiration? What made you get into that?
I guess it's just my personality. I started making videos. People started asking me for more, telling stories, making videos about Bikur Cholim that you can check out on YouTube. And people just kept asking me for more and more. Give me a little bit of a story. Give me inspiration. And I feel good when I see people
All
are
right,
happy.
so let's just say, what's the inspiration do we have tonight? Well, what's tonight on the menu?
Already, but it's a story that stays with me, and I love repeating it over and over and over again. So it's the story about, it's a famous story, I think they call it the story about the eyes, that,
Your camera is too close to the move because camera. Are you?
this,
Yeah, you camera. No, opposite. Further.
say that?
Yeah, בסדר, okay.
Beautiful.
A little bit more. It's not working. Okay. Okay, that's it.
Hold the said that?
הכל בסדר.
Yeah, so what we were discussing your inspiration, so we were talking about Nisim was fixing up the camera over here. Nisim,
No, it's not.
I don't like shifting into third gear over here.
Not my camera. Camera of Yanky, and a little bit narrow. It's not wide angle, so it's
No,
basic.
it's not like Nisim, you know. Nothing beats your camera.
Okay, so you can see also. You can see watch us in J-Root Radio, J-Root Facebook also.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the J Radio line. Anyway, go back to your inspirational story over there. Yeah, it was so inspirational. I felt sick. Stop it, Beryl, please. Huh, Tully. So go ahead, continue.
So, I've heard this story numerous times. Everyone who delivers it a different way. So I'll repeat it the way I remember hearing it. So it's a story about. The story is called The Eyes.
Oh, I got 3 eyes. No, stop it, Beryl. Don't be silly. We're live here. Remember that.
So
The eyes.
The Eyes, correct. So
You know, kids, if you could tell me what eyes have to do with this week's parasha, you could be in a chance to win a Knock Your Radio.
And I would say, kids, somebody is annoying here. Okay, let him talk about the eyes.
so
Go ahead.
so a guy was set up with this girl to get married, and the shadchan said, let me just tell you that this girl is, she's unfortunately blind.
Right.
You have to be okay with this. So from what I remember, they met and they decided to get married, and the way they lived their life was whenever they would go to the park, she would be sitting on the bench, and he would describe to her how beautiful the trees are, all the kinderlach playing in the park, the flowers are blossoming, everything. One day they heard that there was a transplant available to have surgery to be able to fix her eyes. And they ran, and they got put onto a waiting list. And they said, when it's time for you to, if you're on the list, we'll give you a call. Months went by, years went by, no phone call. Until one day she got a phone call saying, I have good news for you. We're able to give you a transplant. You can come in. We can fix her eyes. Baruch Hashem, come in. So they went in, and while they're waiting in the waiting room, she can feel that her husband's nerves are really getting to him. She says, what's going on? What's the problem? I can feel your energy. I feel you're nervous. Everything is going to be okay. He said, but there's something you really, really have to know. You really have to know. He said, when you get your eyes, you're going to see that I'm blind. I'm blind as well. She said, you're blind? And he said, yes. She said, how come I didn't know about all this? You took me to the park. You took me there. You were describing everything to me. He said, that's what I think a perfect marriage is like. Just be together. Make your wife happy no matter what the situation is. So she went in, and she got her transplant, and she was able to see. When she was able to see, she realized that she's not happy anymore. Not about the eyes. She's not happy with her relationship. She's not happy with her husband. She's not into it anymore. She's not comfortable anymore. She called her husband from work, and she said, I think the best thing to do is when I come home from work, you should be gone. Take your bags and go. He said, okay, he's not going to fight with her. He's going to take his bags and he's going to run. She comes home, and she sees that all his stuff is gone. And there's a little note on the kitchen table. And on the kitchen table, the note says, I will always love you. You will always be the number one in my life. But please do me one favor. Take care of those gorgeous eyes you were given, because not too long ago they were mine.
Oh, wow.
So he donated his eyes to his lovely wife.
Wow, so...
We need to use our eyes to see the good in every situation, whatever situation you're in, whether you're a child, whether you're a parent, just to see that wherever you are, Hashem is with you.
Wow, that was unbelievably inspiring and sad at the same time. This just repeated a shortcoming of the story. This thing of the story that was about this person. He gave his eyes over to his spouse, and the spouse never realized until the spouse, the other part of the spouse left, And yeah, wow, that's such an inspirational story. I mean, you always have to look at the positive.
You have to stop and think. You know how many times I'm standing by the bus stop and there's a little old man or a little old lady or anybody, and they say, "Young man, is there a bus coming?" And you go halfway into the street, right? And you can see all the way down, maybe even 10 blocks down, oh, a bus is coming. And you think to yourself, I was able to see that, and she wasn't able to see that. Then you have to remember every morning, you say, "Pakeach Ivrem" in the brachas.
Right.
When you see that you're able to see something somebody else can't see, stop and think for a second. Baruch Hashem, I was able to see that. Thank you, Hashem, for these eyes.
Let me say,
Jason wants to say something. Go ahead.
add something that to this. It's many times, it's not only what we see, and unfortunately, you know, in the world of deceiving, sometimes you see something, and it's nothing, and sometimes you see nothing, and it's something, because our eyes, Hakadosh Baruch Hu give us option to see, but our Chachamim said, "Be'orcha nireo," a new light will see. Right? In new light. Many times we are judging other people. We are looking at this on the negative way, and we don't understand what is all about. What to see the good about the other stuff, and this is something so important to see. And we gave the mashal that when you go to a big city like Manhattan or this, you look at the sky at night, and you see barely stars. You go to upstate, to the mountain, you see a lot of stars, right? Because I would say the what? Oh, you know what? I get the artificial light.
You're getting
the artificial light. It's basically taking us from seeing the truth, and this so many times we don't see the truth because we have so many things that around
so many
us,
distractions
that kill, you know, just basically taking us the real vision. And this is very important to see. That's the same like this lady, that she didn't see what is behind the new eyes until somebody told her. And I want a very spiritual. I'm sorry that I'm taking your time, but I want to tell a very spiritual time.
Continue.
I would say the story.
30 minutes.
No. I had a story about it's a real clip that I saw. Somebody sent me, and a person in the 60s old person that basically he has a birthday, and his family, everybody's standing outside, and he gave him a big box. And he said, "Father, open it. Father, open it." And he opened one box, and the second box, and the third box, and the fourth box. And then he reached to open, and he opened the last box, and he saw a pair of glasses. And he took this pair of glasses, and they tell me, everybody told him, put it on. And suddenly put it on, and you see a different person. This person started crying like a baby. And what happened? It was a colorblind. And these glasses basically is anti what do you call it? It's color glasses basically that convert his blindness to color, to see the colors. And he suddenly realized the color of his wife's hair, the color of the flowers, the color of the house. And he couldn't stop crying.
Wow.
It's really amazing to see. We are taking for granted that we see, we don't, feeling, but it's not so simple.
Not so simple.
Not so simple.
Right. Okay. But now we're back on. We're good.
Yeah, you go.
Okay.
Not to take your frown, because you said that was a little bit of a sad story, and just to make it a little bit of
A little bit of a
smile,
simcha, yes. It is Adar, yes.
I'll do another small, short story, which teaches you that when you hear the negative, you'll do the positive.
When I hear negative, I'll do positive?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
You'll see what I mean. So there was
This is sort of like a magic trick.
sort of a magic trick. So there was a yid who had a very bad heart condition, and he had a heart attack, and he was in the hospital, and he was very depressed. Why? His daughter was getting married the next day, and he wants to be at the chasana. He put together the chasana for a long time. You can't miss the chasana. So they spoke to the doctors and they spoke to the nurses, and they worked out that they brought him on a big wheelchair connected to different machines so that he can be there for his daughter's chasana.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
So, he was at the chuppah, smorgasbord, everything was fine, he was relaxed. Then all of a sudden, the music starts, and they're ready to call in the chassan and the kala. He went ahead, and he pulled out all his wires, and he got in the middle of the dance floor, ready to dance like no tomorrow. Just dancing and dancing and dancing. So a few people saw this, and a few people said, this guy's Meshuggah. This guy just had a heart attack.
That is right.
He
Yeah.
can't. They were talking to each other. They were trying to say, Reb Yitz, sit down. Okay, you know, you're fine. You can't dance now. He wouldn't listen. He was just going. He was doing flips and tumble sauces, and he looked like he was strong already. They didn't know what to do. They didn't want him to have another heart attack on the dance floor. So there was a big Rav there, and they went to the Rav and they said, we need help. We have to get him to sit back down. He's gonna chas v'shalom chalila have a heart attack again. So the Rav thought for a second, and he said, no problem, I'll take care of it. The Rav goes in the middle of the dance floor, and he whispers something into the guy's ear, and within 2 seconds, he runs back and sits down in the wheelchair. So everybody was thinking, he definitely didn't tell him that he's gonna have a heart attack, because we did. So what did he tell him to get him to sit down? They go over to the Rav, and they say to the Rav, they took him to the corner, and they said to the Rav, can you share your secret? How did you get him to sit down? He said, that was very simple. I just told him that he has a hole in his pants. And he
Yeah,
sat
that's
down.
cute. Wow, so he sat down because he had a hole in his pants, but everybody thought that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so do you, by the way, go with the costumes, let's say, to hospitals and stuff, or,
I'd like to, yes.
so,
I'd like to start making my way down.
as I said, this organization, last week I had this organization, wonderful organization. I'm actually speaking to Yanky Flusburg. He does do dressing up. And I actually had this organization last week. The name is Giggle, Gigl. Give me inspiration, giving the gift of life. And they were here last week. And they actually do go to hospitals. But yeah, so what is the feeling you get when you go to a party? Or when you go, let's say, a Purim Suda, you go to Purim Sudas, I'm sure, with the costumes, right?
If I get a phone call, but usually Purim Suda is usually
It's
family.
more quiet. Okay. So, when you go to these places, what's the feeling you get?
To see these kids lighten up the room and smile and just run over to you and you feel that you're their role model is just, it's an amazing, amazing feeling. And to see the parents thanking you so much that my kids weren't bored just running around, that you came and you entertained them, it's an amazing feeling inside. Just an amazing
So
feeling.
these, you say these little things, dressing up and going to parties, makes,
It feels good. Yeah.
So, and your thing, by going to parties, you and making the kids happy. So, what's after you leave? How do you think? What do you feel like you?
I feel like I accomplished, I feel like I go back to when I decided to do this. And I say to myself, can you imagine, this is me talking to myself, can you imagine if I didn't buy that costume and I just said to myself, this is silly, where do you see this? Where do you see people hiring Mickey Mouse to come? Maybe in the guy should. I thank Hashem every day for giving me the seichel to do this, because it's Baruch Hashem giving me parnasa, and it's making all the children happy. You don't have to go to Disney World to see Mickey, you can hire me.
Right. So you can definitely hire.
You hire me to have dinner in your house.
So how many? Let's talk about how many years. We've talked about when you first started. Now let's talk about when you started. How many years ago?
I bought the costume about 4 years ago. I started dressing up as Mickey Mouse and Purim so I can get pictures to advertise it. And then when I saw everyone in the street running over to me, practically lining up to take a picture, I remember I was walking with my sister to deliver Shalach Manas. And we had to stop on every block. People in their house, let me go get my camera, take a picture with my kids, let me get my camera. And I said to myself, this is something. If I make myself a business out of this, who knows?
Right, that's funny because I like it every time when I'm on the street, nobody takes a picture and they stay away from me. Lisa, what do you say, huh?
Wait a minute. Wait a few months and some people stop on the street.
Oh, yeah. I hope not. Anyway, so you started how many years ago? You said
About 3-4 years ago.
3, 4 years ago doing this. This is unbelievable. So we're speaking to Yanky Flusburg, and if you want to have Yanky over by your party, by your little bit of a birthday party,
Even if you
little-
want me on a Monday night for dinner, you can have Mickey Mousey dinner with him, no problem.
yeah, you can have Mickey Mouse for dinner. How do you like that? I don't like mouse for dinner. They don't taste good. You're not going to eat the mouse. Come on.
But don't forget, we have other characters as well. You can ask me to bring Elmo. I can bring Big Bird, whatever you want.
You have Big Bird?
I can. I work together
That's
with an individual who gets me the costume, so I can just give
Wow,
me.
that's interesting.
Yeah, give me a few weeks notice and I'll arrange it.
Wow, that's so. What do they got to do to let's say they want to reach you to come down for a party? Well, what do they
So-
got to do?
So you can call me on my cell phone, which is
I hope that you're gonna. How many calls are you gonna get after this?
With Hashem. You can call me on my cell phone at 917-680-7483.
That's 917-680-7483
7483.
to reach Yankee on his cell phone for events, for a and even just let's say you want to do a nice surprise party for your child or for the Bubby Zadie grandpa. I said grandpa. Hey, I said grandpa. You can't fight with me. Anyways, so back to the inspiration.
Let
like,
me ask you
what's
something.
your other third thing?
Let me ask you
Go ahead,
something.
Nissan.
Let's say that somebody want to other figure, like
Like a different character.
yeah, different.
So you have to call me a good amount of time before the party. Tell me who you want, and I'll get them.
Okay, because we also a lot of role model like Moshe Rabbeinu, Aaron, Yosef Tzaddik. This something that you have to, maybe it's a good idea, no?
Go to the perm store,
Yeah,
get a beard.
it's a terrific idea.
No, I'm not talking Purim. Purim is Purim,
Purim
but
is
Purim.
Purim.
But let's
Or
say
we're
that
on our hands
yeah,
and
we
our
want
feet
we
are
want
up
to
there.
inspire a boy 6 years old as a birthday party to give him a little bit Yiddishkeit figure and bring yourself from from a custom of a prisoner to a custom of a king.
I'm sure we can arrange
Yeah.
that.
You can arrange all different
I'm
costumes.
sure we can. Did you see around Parshas Noach time? You had Noach and his teva.
Noach and Steva, yeah,
Around,
I
you had
saw
this
that.
guy dressed up as Noach.
Don't tell me that was you.
That wasn't me, but he came to my son's school and
Oh.
just to see the pictures of it was beautiful. But just to add for my organization, you can also go on to Facebook and check out characters at your Simcha by Yanky, and you can see
Characters at your Simcha
by
by
Yanky,
Okay.
and you can see information and pictures from Simchas that I did.
So this is your second thing you do. You said you had a third thing.
Yeah, so I'm right now currently, well, I haven't been getting success with it much for a long time, but I play keyboard.
So Yankee over here, if you want to hire him, you're expert. You're an expert in keyboard playing.
Baruch Hashem, yes.
So Yanky Flusburg is available for your next Simcha. You can reach him by calling 917. Go ahead.
680
680
7483.
7483. So whoever's listening, and you can mention Jeru Radio, you'll get Yankee to give you a discount. You just mentioned Jeru Radio, and you heard it on Jeru, and
If you mention J-Word Radio, I'll play keyboard, wearing the Mickey outfit, and I'll give an inspirational quote.
Well, you look at that. That's unbelievable. I mean, what could be better than all three things at once? So, how long ago did you get started on this keyboard thing?
I've been taking piano lessons since I was bar mitzvah, basically, maybe even before.
Wow. So, you started as, let's say, 13-year-old.
Something like that, yeah.
Wow. So, you never played by events yet, or?
I played by some, but right now the competition is, Baruch Hashem.
I always ask every singer, every person who comes here, what did you feel like? Like, let's say you made a mistake in the music. So, what's the feeling you get? Like, are you nervous or what?
My hands shake a little bit, but nobody will realize it.
Nobody really see.
Nobody can. People are just listening to the beat of the music and they're totally into the dancing. If you press an F key instead of a G key, no one's gonna notice.
So, kids out there, if you make a mistake, you can always correct the mistake. This is what we learned from. I always ask this on the singers, and so you do singing as well, right? Is that correct? You do.
I'm learning how to.
So Yanky is currently learning how to sing, but yeah, you can hire him as a one-man band, and he can arrange some excellent singers. He has up his sleeve some excellent singers. I hope he doesn't have any singers up his sleeve. No, he doesn't have it up his sleeve right now. He can arrange it. Anyways,
And never
so,
give up. Just like all the little Kinderlach that are listening.
so talking back down to the costume. So you said you have Big Bird and Elmo and
I can get anybody, basically.
basically
Ernie,
anything.
Cookie
So,
Monster, Bob the Builder, this new character, Peppa Piggy.
Peppa Piggy, that's cute. So you could do any costumes, like let's say somebody wanted you like Scooby Doo and that, like right? Yeah.
Scooby Doo, but they have to give me at least before the party 2 weeks notice.
2 weeks notice.
And
Huh?
I get it. Yeah.
Wow, that's
I have to get the costume.
it's really nice. So how many parties, let's say, you've been to? Estimate.
A lot.
Wow. So, and the kids that you see
love it.
they like, right?
They love it.
So kids out there, all you need to do, well, let's say you're visiting your grandma or your grandpa. All you need to do is just, come and appear with a costume. No, don't appear with a costume. Your grandpa's gonna have a heart attack. Who says? Me. Right. Okay.
The two popular costumes are Elmo and Mickey right now. People
Elmo
love
and
Elmo.
Mickey.
A
That's
lot
the
of
hottest
kids
thing
grow
in
up.
style.
Huh?
That's the hottest thing in style right
Kids grow up, the first person they usually learn is Elmo. That's
Elmo?
usually the first thing they show the kids.
now. Okay, I'm not gonna do that now.
That was very special.
Right. Yes. Okay. So we're talking about what we're gonna talk about now. Yeah, Nathan, help me out here.
So wait, so let me just say again, so between all my successes, Baruch Hashem, of course I had failure, but I got back up. So all the little kinderlach that are listening, if you're learning how to ride a bike and you fall,
Yeah.
don't get up, put the bike away and go back in the house. Get back on the bike, put on a
Uh,
Band-Aid, put the helmet back on, and keep riding.
right. So you say that you can make a mistake, right? Mistakes don't really hurt.
Mistakes, people live every day, there's mistakes happening every single day, but you correct it. And if you correct it, you have success.
Right.
If you quit after that first failure, where are you going?
So you're a failure.
You're not. You don't want to fail.
Right.
You want to succeed. You want to connect the fail to success.
Uh-huh. Wow, that's unbelievable. Wow. Inspirational. Yanky does it again. So what caused you, how many years ago did you start your inspiration?
Almost the same time as, I opened up a group about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago.
So do you give like a share? Do you give like a speech or?
I made
you can-
videos. I made one video that I put on the internet about giving everybody a smile. You see somebody in the street, give them a smile. And people loved it. So I opened up a group, Inspirational Yanky. I started posting every night a little bit of inspiration. People asking me for videos about different topics.
Mhm.
So I usually listen to my audience.
So what's the feeling that you get after people give
If
you
somebody messages me and says to me, I just watched your video and I really needed to hear that today. Thank you.
you really need to
It
hear
gives me-
the,
It gives me the goosebumps that somebody is feeling better because of that video. I was put
so
on
all
this
you
earth.
need to do, you say, is to inspire somebody is just smile.
No, that's one video that I made, that if you see somebody in the street, whenever you're walking on Avenue J, for example, you're always passing each other, people see you, just smile. Just smile. Every now and then somebody needs a smile. You don't know who it is.
Right.
Everybody
All
can
right.
use a smile.
Now with that in hand, Nissan, I'll tell you there's a smile from
Shlomi Gertner.
the smile. Yeah, I'll tell you there's from Shlomi Gertner.
Let me just find you one.
Anyways, we didn't give Nissan some time to look. I never tell him anything. We never arrange anything. It's like Nissan is like a magician over here.
This one is great.
So Nissan is behind the cameras. You don't see him. And, Nissan really is the one who controls the radio over here, tells me what to say.
Oh, God.
He
Shall I close the mic?
Well, listen, he controls basically what I say. Like, if he doesn't, let's say I would say something wrong. You say something wrong. Yes, I say sometimes wrong things, and I do feel embarrassed sometimes. And sometimes I would say something that, right now, let's say I wouldn't know what to talk about. I would have to think. And, Kindle, me doing this show, I remember 2 years ago, a year ago even, that Rabbi Bornstein was sitting here, and I was saying to myself, no way am I ever going to do this show, because I will never be able to do it. And look at me now, kids. I am the one doing the show. And it's kind of really interesting to do a show, and I feel a little strange doing a show. I mean, sometimes it is it feels a little lonely, and sometimes it's fun. But going back to Yankee inspiration line over here, going back to Yankee inspiration over here. So what's another inspiring thing that you can say? Let's say about somebody working hard.
Or again, you can tie the same thing. Somebody's working very hard because they want to succeed in something. There's no such thing as an easy job. It doesn't exist.
So let's say, let's say I'm a child. I know you know about children, of course. I go to a lot of parties. So let's say I'm a child, and I can say, like I could call you up. Now, is there ever a time like you'll say, okay, hi, like let's say at the last minute I'll say, okay, you know what, I'm canceling. Is that like
Depends what it is. What are we talking about over here?
So sometimes kids in life, sometimes you don't get everything you want. Sometimes, kids, sometimes you wish for something, and
I'll give you my thought when we're done with the song.
yeah, go ahead. Nissan, play the music, and here is Shlomi Gertner
Smile.
with the Smile song. Oh,
They can't hear us.
yeah, they can hear me. Okay, too much talking.
See, every time you mention something, it connects on the story for me.
Hmm?
Every time you mention something, it gives me another idea of the story.
I put the picture all over the place today. Nissan, you're about to become famous.
I want to tell you, you're talking about something. I'm going to places. Oh, Nissim, I must take picture of you. I must take picture. My wife want to see you. Would you believe? I had one time in a wedding. I was sitting over there in a wedding,
Yeah.
and I had two guys.
Sorry, Nissan, I'm trying to do two things at once. Working.
Yeah.
So I had a guy, two guys, Hasidic guy, start complain about the food, the Sephardic food. It was
Delicious
Sephardic. Yeah, okay. So I make to myself, I don't understand. They're talking, and in the end, I said, what's wrong with the Sephardic food? It's the best food. And the filter fish is better. So they was shocked. And then somebody was said to me, one second, your voice, I recognize your voice. I said, what is this? Oh, do you listen? My wife will kill me if I don't have the picture with you. It was so funny. But going to places, sometimes it's crazy.
You famous people, right?
Yeah, famous people, yeah. Trying to do the job.
After sitting, I'll enjoy another walk home.
You walk home?
I walk here.
Yeah, wow. It's a nice walk.
Beautiful. The best thing to do before you go to sleep is walk.
Yeah.
Walk.
It's the healthiest thing to do before you go to sleep.
Lisa takes out the L and puts in the R. Work.
Yeah.
Lisa, you're here till 10:30 tonight.
I have to go to after this to an engagement party.
Engagement party. Yeah, maybe bring him along. He'll bring along costumes and stuff.
Wait, so Nissim,
Yeah.
if I put the video on my laptop, you said people can watch it?
Yes. But you use it as a mirror, you screen, you broadcast now to the Facebook. So
I'll go off it and I'll go on.
Okay. Okay, ready?
2, 2.
Yeah, smile.
All right. That was Shlomi Gertner, everybody. We do not have too much time left. We only have 10 more minutes. And yeah, we were just about to ask Yanky for something inspiring to say. Go ahead, another inspiring thought.
You mentioned before kids never get exactly what they want.
Right.
So there was a father that wanted to trick his child.
Prank.
I don't know if I would say prank, but he wanted to trick
Prank.
his child.
All right.
So, you know, his birthday was coming up, and his father kept saying, "What do you want for your birthday?" So he said, "I want a sports car."
Sports car. Okay.
So his father said, "Okay." Now, when a father says "okay," it doesn't necessarily mean you're getting it.
Right.
So he went to his friends and, "I'm getting a sports car." I told my father I want a sports car for my birthday, and he said, "Okay." He didn't realize that okay means okay, that's what you want. That's not what you're gonna get. So his birthday came, and he was just sitting there getting presents, and he just couldn't wait until his father tells him, "Let's go to the backyard, I got your gift back there."
Wow.
So his father says, "All right, I'm ready to give you my gift."
Mm-hmm.
And he gives his son big box,
Okay.
and he says, "Don't tell me there's a sports car in there, because the sports car don't fit in that box. He says, just open it." He opens it, and there's a set of shas.
Wow.
He was very upset, because he was telling all his friends he's getting a sports car, and his friends were getting other friends to be friends with him, and he was going to be the life of the party. And all his friends are like, "Oh, you're not getting a sports car. We're not friends with you anymore.
Well,
You lied to us."
right.
So he said to his father, "I'm not talking to you anymore. I can't talk to you anymore. I'm very upset with you right now."
Right.
So he moved out. He got his own apartment over a sports car. And he said, "I'm not talking to you anymore." Years went by. He still didn't talk to his father.
Okay.
And his father got sick, unfortunately. And he got a phone call from his mother that his father was nifter.
Right.
And the Levaya came, and he was lost for words. He didn't speak. And he said to himself, "What can I do? What am I supposed to do with myself now?" He called his Rav, and the Rav said, "If you really, really want to honor your father's memory, take a look at the gift he gave you. Look at the shas. He never opened it yet."
Oh wow.
So he went back home to his mother's house.
And how many years later is this?
This is after the Levaya.
This is after how many years though did it take place?
As soon as, from the story, about 10 years ago.
About 10 years from then.
Yeah.
Wow.
He went down to his mother's basement, and he saw the boxes all dusty, and he reached his hand into the box, and he took out the first volume of the Gemara. And he was learning, and as soon as he turned to open up the first Amud, there was a set of keys.
Ha ha!
And there was a note telling him where the car is.
Oh! So he got the car, but he had to open up the
He had to
shop.
first open up the shas to run the
Wow.
door.
Kids who are watching, this is unbelievable. Kids who are listening to this story, this is an unbelievable story. Just to recap the story, because we don't have so much time. That the story is about this person. This person came to the son, and he instead of buying the son what he wanted, he really bought the son what he wanted. But he also did a little bit of a trick in it. He put a Shas Gemara, and he had a Shas Gemara, and he had a keys in the Gemara that the son didn't even know. And had the son just opened up that Gemara, he would have had his sports car. Wow, that's unbelievable, and that was very inspiring indeed.
They say good things come to those who wait.
Yeah. So tell us, I know inspiration, there's so much inspiration that we could learn from this week's parsha. Can you tie in some inspiration thoughts from this week's parsha to...
Well, what would you say is one of the biggest events that happened in Parsha?
This week's parsha, we learned about the Egel.
And?
We
Tell
learned
me something
about
interesting.
Tshuva.
Right. Tshuva is?
Tshuva is good.
Right. And why do you have to do tshuva?
Because it's, oh no, I'm being grilled over here. I'm being grilled.
You have to give me some
Nisam,
material.
help me out.
You have to give me some material.
Nisam wants to tell me why you need to do tshuva. What type of question is that? Of course, you got to do tshuva because you don't know the last day of your life is. So no, why we need to do tshuva? Tshuva, anytime somebody makes a mistake and says I'm sorry, it gives you the pleasure. It gives you inspiration that at least somebody's saying I'm sorry. Yeah, like it's like somebody walking across the street and bumping into you, and you saying ouch, and the guy just who cares? But if the guy would turn back and say, "Oh, pardon me, sir, I didn't realize you were there," and then you would feel much better. So yes, so right, tshuva basically is is inspiration, and when you do tshuva, you're saying, really, I'm sorry.
Now, do you feel that if something happens between you and another chaver, another friend, it's okay, I have till Arvin Kippur to call him?
Wow.
What's the difference between calling him, something happens between the two of you on Monday? Should you call him Tuesday morning or wait till Arvin
Right.
Kippur?
So what's the message that you're trying to bring?
You know what? I'm not going to ask him for forgiveness because it's too fresh. He's not going to forgive me. But if I wait till Arvin Kippur, he's going to have to forgive me because it would be an Avera for him not to forgive me in Arvin Kippur. Right?
Yeah, I hear you.
So should you wait to ask for forgiveness?
So
or should you ask for forgiveness?
We should do it right away. Right away.
Right away.
Have to do, yeah.
Because you want to start Yom Kippur with a fresh year. Like you should come to Yom Kippur. You still have to ask people for forgiveness. I know I said I'm sorry to you 2 months ago, but I'm sorry again. Right?
Right. That's interesting. We're gonna talk about that maybe about.
That's a topic. That's topic by itself.
Right. It's a long topic, and we can't get into it. Anyways, it's right now 7:57, and we are gonna get ready over here to close up the shop. What do you say, Nisa? No.
We have we have 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Let me just tell you something about tshuva, okay?
If you want a tshuva, you open up a Gemara. There's the question and the tshuva. That's not what you're gonna say. And the keys to the sports car.
Do you know what Amalek did?
Did I know? I'm sorry.
Amalek.
They came over to you and they said right after Matan Torah, they said, you know what? I'm gonna get them.
And what they took the Vav and K from the Shem Hashem, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Lo Al Kesya, yes.
Okay.
And what it meaning that the Kiseh, the chair that Hakadosh Baruch Hu, it's missing the Aleph, and the Shem Hashem missing the Vav and A.
No.
Correct?
That's terrible.
So now the tshuva is basically to bring back the Vav and the 8. And you look the word tshuva.
Mm-hmm.
You look the word tshuva, as you see this Tav Shin Bet, okay? The Tashiv at a Vav A. Bring back the Vav A. By doing tshuva, we are bringing and we are filling the Shem Hashem full. And by Shem Hashem full, we are basically fulfill the Kiseh.
Yeah.
This is it's not for this topic, but
right. Yeah, you're gonna speak about that on Sunday, right? Anyways, Lisa, let's talk about right now because people ask me they don't know about the Friday show. So tell me, what's the Friday show is? What time is the Friday show?
Okay, and to talk about the DJ K, DJ Kobe,
yes.
DJ Kobe is basically I think it will start tomorrow before 1:30 to 3 o'clock, 3:30. It depends how it is. This is the time that you will starting, and tonight we have.
And you can give song requests at that time and shout outs and
yes.
anything you want. And over here in this show, we're also inviting gold children, and if especially children from Camp Simcha Chai Lifeline, for those kids out there. And I didn't say my Tehillim list. Please be misspelled for Alexander Zisha Ben Eliza. And all Yiddish Aver Pushlan does the Kishreini hour. Moshe Gronfeld, this week's question was, remember the question? This week's question was about the Egel. And yes, this week's parsha is about the Egel, and the Egel that Aaron O'Kain asked for the woman's nose rings. And if you can tell me the answer at 347-927-3279, this is the Kishreini hour. Moshe Gronfeld. Have a great Shabbos, everybody. Followed by me, Rav Shishel Schachter. Don't go away because DJ Simcha with Kobe.
Shabbos.
What did I do? Where did I put my water bottle? Ready? Knew how to come out. Terrible?